to ask kids questions. Kids will be able to respond and talk to their teacher. There will be scenarios where children will be able to talk to each other. So it is an experience that will be a great improvement from what we were able to do last spring when everything was recorded. So then the asynchronous is that those are the pre-recorded lessons that children will have. And again, the pre-recorded lessons will be in science and social studies and in creative arts. Those lessons will be all recorded. They'll be recorded and then posted on Google Classroom. And then students must attend those classes within the week that they're posted. But they can actually, anything that's recorded, they will be able to access at any time during the day or in the evening or on the weekend if they want to. So I'll spend some time looking at the schedule. This represents the grade levels at Murphy, grades 2 through 5. And the children, they will have lessons Monday through Friday, with Friday being a day that it will start with a live morning meeting, but any activities after that will be recorded. So we'll walk through a couple grade levels and talk about what the day will look like. So for a second grader logs on 8:15, and he or she will go into will be at the Google, what's called Google Meets, and that looks similar to a Zoom meeting. So they'll be able to see the kids that are in their class. They will see the teacher. The teacher will do an activity with them. The first couple weeks of school, you're going to see the teachers will be doing a lot of things with the kids to build community and team spirit and social activity, so the kids get to know each other, and it will help the teachers get to know the children. So, so they would stay on there in Google Meets, and the teacher will start language arts at 8:30. So once the schedule gets started, that lesson, that language arts lesson, may be 15 or 20 minutes long. And the teacher may do things like, do a slide presentation, may talk about the vocabulary of the week. They may do some word work or comprehension skills. And then the kids would have assignments where will do some practice of what the teachers has taught them. And that can be independent practice. So there'll be opportunities for them to get online, get off the computer, or the teacher may be doing meet with small groups of kids during that time. So if we were in a brick and mortar environment during that time, teachers would be meeting with small groups of children in reading groups and rotating kids through those little reading groups. We're going to be doing the same thing within that reading block. But as I said, the first couple of weeks will look a little bit different because teachers really want to focus on getting to know the kids, giving the kids some opportunity to meet and socialize with the children in their class. So they'll be doing, again, some community building. We have a movement break built in here. One of the questions parents had, can they do the movement break at home and not participate? That's fine, they can do the movement break at home. Sometimes the teacher might suggest that they do something. 10:15, they start math. And that again will begin with a live lesson that may be 10 or 15 minutes. With the children, children can ask questions. An assignment will be given, and then kids can go and do that assignment. At the same time, we have it laid out so that children can be called into do small group work with the teacher. And that at that time, teachers would meet with 3 or 4 kids and make sure that they understand the assignment. If those children have had time to do some of the practice, teacher might say, well, how did you do on number 12? What's the answer that you got? Or what is the strategy you used to get the answer? And then I'm a second grader, 11:30 to 12 is recess and lunch. And then creative arts. Creative arts will be recorded. The creative arts that they will have this year that will be posted is PE, physical education. That will be taught by Mr. Batten. They will have guidance, which will be taught by Mrs. Poplar. They will have music, and we are in the process of hiring a music teacher. They will have art, that is Mrs. Waite. And they will have technology or STEAM with Mrs. Pentella. So that would be, and those creative arts will rotate on a daily basis. We will also put a chance for the children to meet with our librarian, and she will do the lessons that she normally does during the school year. And she may 1 week talk about fantasy books, introduce the children to fantasy books. She may do something the next week on a special author who writes a series of books. So those lessons are different, but those would be the lessons that they would be getting if they were in school. The science and it says science, social studies, intervention time. I'll talk about that for a few minutes. If you're a second, third, or fourth grader, the way that we've done it for many years is that the children will they may have a science unit that runs for 5 or 6 weeks, and then they have a social studies unit that runs for 5 or 6 weeks. In our schedule, we do not teach science and social studies simultaneously. So those subjects are taught in units, and they will start either with science or they will start with social studies. They are recorded lessons. The intervention is in there because that's when we pull children that may need extra help in reading or math. And that's called our MTSS time or title time. And then this purple where the writing is from 2 to 2:30, that's writing time. And that would be a live lesson. So at that point, a second grader might be on and to listen to a 10-minute live lesson, and then they go back off and they do an assignment. Now in all of these subject areas, teachers will be sending home some paper and pencil assignments. So everything is not done on a Chromebook or on the computer. If I'm a fifth grader, I start with a morning meeting at 8:15, and then I get off at 8:30, and I visit the creative arts class. And then those fifth graders will have math that starts at 9:30, and they will whoever their classroom teacher is, teaches math, they will have their math journals. That's one of the things that we will be sending home. But again, that's a situation where that live lesson is 10 or 15 minutes, and then teachers can work with small groups of children, and then other kids can get off and work at their desk or table, whatever they're doing to finish that assignment. Fifth graders go into ELA, and then they have their recess lunch, writing, and their schedule is a little bit different. For fifth grade, they will have science. We run a science and a social studies class. So if I am in Mr. Hatch's class from 1:30 to 2, I may be doing science, but then I'm gonna, from 2 to 2:30, or however that's broken down, I will also do social studies. So they do have both of those classes on the same day. On the bottom of the schedule, it shows that you've got intervention. It says from 2:30 to 3:04. That's actually independent work time for students. It is teachers' office hours. And for fourth and fifth grade, that is a time where we would do intervention groups for those children who qualify through the MTSS program. And if we do, you would be notified as a parent that your child qualifies and that we would like to give them extra reading or math help. There has been, if I've gotten questions, it's been on the schedule. I think that people wanted a clear explanation. I did get comments about, why can't it just be all live instruction in the morning? Other comments were kind of the exact opposite. Can somebody teach my child in the evening, because they're not going to be able to do this during the day? So it's really been all over the board. And we know that we can't, we're in a situation, I can't please everyone with this. It's my opinion that we need to start with a schedule that is the same as if we are in hybrid. And, we could go into hybrid, and we could also be in a situation, I don't know, if you think about the future and what it might be, we could, if we go back to school face-to-face, 2 weeks later, we could be online again. I don't know, but we've got to have a schedule that works both in and out of being online and hybrid. Somebody also asked if teachers can do read-alouds during one of these blocks. The answer to that is yes. And we did do some investigation over teachers reading books, and then can we record that? And if we can record that, if it's in their learning platform, like a Google Meets. Google Meets is our learning platform, or Google Classroom. If we were to want to read it and then post it on a private YouTube channel, we would have to have the author's permission. So we did talk to our school attorney on what we could and couldn't do, and I assure you that teachers will be doing read-alouds because it's one of the favorite things of the kids. Okay, Steve. So I'll talk to you about Google Classroom right now. Google Classroom is our learning platform. There will be instructional videos that will be sent to families from teachers. on how to log in the first day. So again, let me repeat that. The teachers will send instructional videos. They will be emailed to families, and it will talk to you and tell you how you can log in the first day. The kids will have information will be sent to you, or we may be able to get it in the student packets for this week or for next week, and it will have their username and password information. So we will get that to you. The what's called Google Meet or Zoom will be used for live learning or synchronous learning in class meetings. When if I am a second grade teacher and I'm doing my morning meeting, I'm going to record that for the children that can't, that may not be able to attend. And that means that when the teacher's recording that, the children are also being recorded because you see everybody. It will be posted in the Google Classroom, and if parents don't want their child to be recorded, they would talk to them about turning off their camera, and then also notify me or the administration. So if you would send me an email about that, and there will be more coming out in emails to parents too. Weekly lessons, teachers will be posting their weekly lessons on Monday by 7 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's lessons will be on. And then on Thursday by 7 a.m., Thursday and Friday lessons will be posted. And we're doing that K through 12 across the district. Okay, Steve. So Google Meets, that's where the live instruction will happen. It looks much like Zoom. So the teacher sees the children see each other and the teacher. We do have expectations that teachers will be going over with the children. So, we'll talk to them about being on time. If kids are starting school at 8:30, you're going to want to think about, having them be, getting ready probably 5 or 10 minutes before that to be able to log on. An helpful hint, would be that they find a quiet place in your house or wherever they are that they can sit with their Chromebooks. We have to be prepared. Pencils, they'll need pencils, and whatever the teachers have sent home. So that could be maybe by their feet. Be respectful, participate, and the teachers will talk to them about chatting responsibly. Grades will be given in the content areas. We heard from, the teachers will be giving the children feedback. There will be a check-in and of assignments. And if I just want to talk about this, there's a lot of stuff that when kids are in school that they do for practice and it's not graded, but they'll get a check. Teachers keep track of whether the child did the assignment or not. So we will do that. We'll keep track of whether the children are doing the assignment, but not everything will get a grade. So I just wanted you to know that they're going to do more things that'll be checked in, and then some things will be graded. But we're using Fridays. Part of what teachers will be doing on Fridays is giving feedback to students on the assignments that they had to submit during the week. So supply pickup, that is next Thursday, or Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday, the 26th from 4 to 7 p.m. Thursday, August 27th from 9 to 11. And I will talk about what they will be picking up. First of all, they will have a Chromebook and a charger and a case. Parents will be asked to sign a technology agreement. That technology agreement is in their welcome pack. So if you haven't gotten their welcome packs from the school, that's where that is. I know I've gotten some emails from parents asking where that is, and you will get that in the welcome pack. So students will pick up things like textbook supplies and the Chromebook. In their supplies for a second grader, they will get their Chromebook, charger, case. They will get a math journal, and that's something they would have in school during the day where they would do some daily practice. And the Reading Street book, and they will be getting a writing book. We are doing a new curriculum for second grade in writing. It's scholastic writing. We're very excited about it. And once writing gets started, there is a workbook that the kids can use. Third through fifth grade will be getting the Chromebooks, the chargers, and the cases. They will be getting the Everyday Math Journal, and they will be getting the Reading Street book. At the fifth grade level, we will be adding a social studies, what's called the social studies workbook. That grade, fifth grade, has an online social studies text, and the kids will learn how to access that. Some of the science, we have an online textbook for science for grades 2 through 5. The children will be taught how to access that. But, I want everybody to know that the science program is not driven by the science book. It is there are lots of other activities and things that we can do with the children that drives that curriculum. Okay, Steve. Attendance will be taken, and we are just getting guidance on this from the state of Michigan. We normally would take attendance in the AM and PM. Children will get credit for being in attendance if the teacher sees them in a live lesson. That would be during science. That would be during ELA, math, or writing. They will get credit for attending by submitting their work, doing some type of an assignment, an exit slip, or an assessment, or if the teacher is contacted on the class day. And we will follow up with phone calls home if we find that, the child is not participating in class. We will call home to see how we can help and what we can do to help the situation. So how to be a successful student. This is, we would rather be in school under brick and mortar than doing online learning. It is not where we thought we would be. I thought when we went out, and by June, I thought, oh, certainly we'll be in school at the end of August. But we are here to help and to help the kids be successful. As come from from the point of view of being a mom, my best advice is to help your kids establish daily routines. The children love routine. Help them pick out an area to work at home, and school supplies at the work area. Little pencil box with pencils, erasers, pack of crayons, maybe some colored pencils, and everything else that they need will be sent home for the kids. I want to talk a little bit about special education. We are making plans for bringing in some of our special education students whose parents want that option. We are looking at that across the district and how to make that happen. What we'll see is that we'll be able to bring in groups of kids, a group in the morning and possibly then a group in the afternoon. At this time, special education providers are sending out or have sent out information to parents asking if they would, if that is offered, if they would participate in that. We're trying to get a number of participants at this point. So more information will be coming as the district plan is formulated. Our MTSS program, that is a program that we have where we can provide intervention for children in reading and math. We have done that, and in the past, we will be providing that again this year. And we will have to do some pre and post testing as far as using Acadience. And then if we feel your child qualifies to be in one of our intervention programs, we will contact the parent with that information and when the class is and the time. So that information will be coming, but probably not until towards the end of September. And then we have our virtual open houses. That will be on Monday, August 31st. You'll see by this slide that we're doing this from K to 12. And at this time, teachers will be able to, they'll send you a link to do a Zoom meeting, and they will be able to introduce themselves, talk to you about the curriculum and expectations for that grade and the class that they're doing. It is only going to be classroom teachers. We will not have our creative arts or special ed teachers doing it at this time. It's just, it will be the classroom teachers. But you'll get a chance to meet the teacher. It's our way of having our parents and our families meet the classroom teachers, find out a little bit about them, and see what the year will look like. And then towards the end, you'll be able to ask some questions. For those who would like breakfast and lunch, everyone can pre-order lunch and breakfast meals at the regular, reduced, or free charged, just like the school day. So meals will be distributed 2 days a week. Pickup will be at Hazlitt High School and other locations that to be determined. And that meal distribution will start Monday, August 31st. And you can watch for more information through Meal Magic emails or individual student meal accounts. Meals will be distributed through a pre-order system, but everyone can order that, and there will be more information coming about that. Other questions? Steve, if you would click on the A+, and that'll take us to the Hazlet website. I wanted to show our parents that. And then under our district, so I wanted everybody to see this website. This is, there's lots of information on the website. It's entitled Responsive Return to School. You see that there's information about the parent forums, the open house and supply pickup, the daily schedules. So Steve, if you'd open the one that says daily learning schedules, and if just click under Murphy. So there's our learning schedule. And then go to the open house, supply pickup. So this page gives all that information. And then you'll see here too, the mobile device agreement. This is what we'll have to, why don't you open that, Steve? Mobile device agreement. The one on top of it, but.
Sorry, I'm not sure where it's at.
Yeah. Device agreement, mode. Okay, click on the one above it. That's the insurance.
Yeah, there's not a link here.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, lots of good information on the website. And that would be on the Hazlet website under our district.
I just would mention that there's technology support available. So if you're having issues with your Chromebook, or if you're having issues logging on, anything related to technology, there's a support helpline. You can either email by clicking on that support at hazlet.k12.mi.us, or you can call our helpline and talk to an individual live on the phone if you're having any kind of technology issues.
Okay. And then Steve, the one question that I have that I wanted you to help me answer is, I had several parents ask, you know, what does it have to look like to get back to face-to-face instruction?
So when the board voted on August 3rd to go to, based on my recommendation to go on 100% online learning, they set a date of October 12th. That's their first board meeting in October, that no later than October 12th, they would make a decision on how we were going to move forward from that point, whether we were going to continue on online or we were going to go back to the hybrid method. So over the next several board meetings in September and then in October, we will be sharing, I will be sharing information. We're coming up with a metric system to determine, you know, data from our area in terms of health information in our county, to determine what do the numbers look like, what are cases like. You know, one of the big concerns initially was Michigan State University coming back and the idea of a lot of students coming back on campus. That decision now has been made, if you have not heard, that they're going to fully online. So that may or may not affect our data in the region. In addition to that, we have to ensure that we can meet all the safety standards in the roadmap. We're currently in phase 4. In phase 4, there are certain safety requirements and protocols that have to be in place in the building. And so we're working to make sure that all of those things are in place. We're in the process of going through construction right now. We're finishing up that at every one of the schools. So we're getting ready to put all those protocols into place as we open up our buildings. But that's the number one piece in addition to those metrics, as I mentioned, with the health data in our region. So between the combination of those two things, I'll be reporting to the board, and they'll be making a decision no later than October 12th, whether we continue on with full online learning or we go back to the hybrid method. If we do go back to the hybrid method, you would still have the option to remain online. That was our option in the beginning. And as Diane mentioned, our goal, my goal, and the goal of the board has always been to try to bring us back to in-person learning. We all know that that's the best method of instruction for our students. Unfortunately, we are a very difficult time now with COVID-19. So, safety and security is always our number one priority. But we hope to bring students back as soon as we can. As Diane mentioned, we're going to offer some opportunities to special ed students and possibly some students that are at risk to potentially start bringing small students back so that we can have some of that in-person instruction. It will be on a voluntary basis, but hopefully that will help us transition as we potentially get into a face-to-face hybrid method. As Diane mentioned too, that one thing I wanted to point out is that one of the reasons we set up our schedule in a hybrid type of method is so that when we transition back, that the schedule will remain the same. So students will still have a portion of in-person instruction and online instruction, so that the schedule stays the same, the teacher stays the same. So it's a smoother transition than basically having to go back and have to change all things around. So that was one of the big reasons that we used the schedule that we had so that the transition would be easier for parents and students as we potentially move back to face-to-face instruction.
Okay, thank you. Can you just go back to that last slide? So I want to thank everybody for coming. I also want to thank my teachers who I know a lot of them have attended tonight. They have worked tirelessly to try to get ready for this new year, and thank you for being here tonight. Parents, if you have additional questions, you can email me. Some of you had mentioned you tried to call the office and no one ever picked up, or it kept ringing. The phones have been down all summer because of construction. We're hoping everything will be up and ready next week. So thank you for joining. We very much appreciate your time. I know it's getting late. It's almost 8 o'clock. So thank you very much for joining.
Have a great night.